Sip.
Alright, let's get started. One film.
I think our director is saying we should get started. You can do that.
Vampires. They're hard to kill. We're recording? Oh, excellent. That's a signal. Hi everybody and welcome to episode 15 of Knights of the Round Table. Today we are discussing the book Artemis, Fowl by Eoin Colfer. This is a book about a young genius who kidnaps a fairy and holds her for ransom. And then, in the most appropriate use of the word, shenanigans. I would like to start with general impression of the book, so I'm going to start with Jasmine, because she hasn't been here for a while.
Yay, me! I first read this book when I was 12 or 13, maybe?
Oh, so the perfect age.
Yeah. And I really, really loved it. And I feel like he's still writing them. Like the last one came out not too long ago. I have sort of failed to keep reading them, but that's more just because I lost track of how many there are, and I think I'm one short. But going back and looking through it again for this, I don't know how much of it is nostalgia and how much of it is really just the quality of the writing, but it's just, damn, this is good. It's just really, it's really fun. I really love the humor, and I really love the uniqueness of it, because it is one of those things that most books either fit very neatly into fantasy or into science fiction, and this one kind of combines the two in very clever ways with wordplay and
fairy technology,
and it's like, yeah, they do have some magic, but they're also just really good engineers. So those are my impressions. I thought it was really fun.
Jen?
So this was the first time I'd read the book, because my sister read it when she was younger and she kept telling me to read it, but I don't know, I think I was in university, so I was like, yeah, I'll get to it after I read my textbooks, which I never read, by the way. So I just never got around to reading it, and then when it was pulled from the bowl 2 weeks ago, I was like, yes, please!
Excuse!
Yeah, pretty much. And so, yeah, I read it in like an afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
It was fantastic. I could not put it down. It reminded me a little bit of O.R. Melling's The Fairy World of it. I don't know, there was just like an impression.
I think also how much of it is centered around Tara, although the O.R. Melling version of Tara, this one is very different.
Yeah, but I read O.R. Melling 3 years ago, so I don't really remember it very, very well, so it was more like the impression that it left on me. This kind of reminded me of it. Another thing I really liked about this was I didn't know whether I wanted to root for Artemis to win or lose.
Yeah.
Because he was so intelligent, but he was so bad.
But you kind of want to see if he can get away with it.
Yeah, exactly. But then you felt kind of bad for him because of his mom, and
yeah, that was.
I was like, I don't know. Do I want him to win or not? And I was really upset at some points. And yeah, it was great.
Okay, well, I've made no secret that young adult really isn't my genre, but as far as so I'm trying to approach this as I would have if I had been that age. I think I was a bit of a precocious reader, so maybe younger, maybe if I was about 8, I would have loved.
Which is the age Karen read it at.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah,
give or take.
Yeah, and I would have loved the book then. It has some very amusing moments. What struck me as an adult was I appreciated the amount of research that went into this book. Even if the fairies are sort of more of a modern take on the fairy people, the amount, like the mention of the coronation stone at Tara, etc., how certain spells are conducted, etc. I really appreciated that about the book. So yeah, as a very young reader, I would have loved it. Now I was like, man, it's alright.
It was fun.
I totally don't understand how you can do that. Like, It's a
okay,
book. It doesn't matter whether it's young adult or adult. It's a book. It has a fun story. You read.
Well, yeah. I'm not.
And enjoy.
I enjoy others more.
Why?
Nobody dies.
Yeah, well, higher stakes in other books, maybe.
I don't like higher stakes.
I thought the stakes were pretty high in this one.
Really?
I thought so.
No, I didn't. I appreciated Artemis's relationship with his mother in this. It was really upsetting. I think younger me would have been really, really, really sad about it.
Yeah. But I think
older me is heartless.
I had a point, I just lost it.
Oh, sorry.
She's heartless. Doesn't care about people, wants her characters to be destroyed about everything.
I think one thing that I appreciate through the whole series, which is 7 or 8 books now, is the evolution of Artemis's character.
There are 12 Artemis Fowl books?
There's 12.
We're getting a 12 over there.
That's what it's.
Seriously?
Or maybe. Oh no, it finished in 2012.
Okay.
Tell me that was book 8.
6.
Because I think I have 7 of them.
This is making us.
But it's not worth reading past number 4. Number 4 is horrible.
There's
My
8.
sister said 4 was horrible, but 5 was amazing, so...
Sorry. 8.
I mean, they are technically... Okay, there are 8. Good.
There are 8.
Okay. Yeah, because I thought I had number 7. And number 7, and like I was sobbing at the end of number 7. Because it is one of those series where I think it worked... It's working for me sort of in the same way Harry Potter did. Where I was like the same age as Harry and his friends all the way through. So I very much, grew up with the series.
I can totally see how
and it's sort of similar. I mean, it's obviously not quite the same because Artemis doesn't age in the same way that Harry and Co did, but
Linearly?
it is. He ages a lot slower.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's a fairy thing. I don't know. Well, and they get into a lot of weird time
issues.
Yes.
Which is actually quite accurate
Later
to Irish mythology, or Celtic mythology in general. So again, I very much appreciated that.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that the characters were all very engaging as well. Like the relationship between Butler and Juliet, I thought was pretty awesome.
I like that Juliet was mad into wrestling.
Juliet's fantastic.
I think Butler was my favorite, though.
He would have been my favorite when I was younger.
And I think the thing that I actually, when I didn't read this book cover to cover for this like I did so very many times, as you can tell, but I mean this is my sister's copy, but it's pretty beat up because it's been very well loved. But I went looking for that moment when the troll first comes in.
Oh my gosh.
And it's that moment when Butler is running down the stairs and he's having that moment of how he knows that he needs to get to his sister, but he's never left Artemis in a crisis before. And it's just like, this is just such good writing right now. It's working for me. I'm on board.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, I definitely recommend you read the first 3.
I will continue them, for sure.
If you want to borrow them.
I have the first 5.
Oh, okay, then you're set. Don't read 4. It's not worth it.
My sister said, power through it.
No!
It gets better.
No, it'll gut you. Another thing that I really liked is the invention of gnomish.
I noticed...
Did you translate it?
No, because I didn't want to deal with translating while I was trying to read a book.
Yes.
But I noticed that it had the symbols across the bottom of every single page, so what does it say?
Well, this is the thing. I was going crazy this morning trying to find the diary in which I had translated it when I was in I was in grade 9, I think, when I read the book sufficiently that I'm like, okay, I should read, now I want to translate it. And I did. It's a message from Foley. It's a whole big long story.
Really? That's amazing.
Oh, that's
how did you manage to translate it? This
well,
is
because there were a few Actually, yeah, I think I used this.
Is that the alphabet though?
No,
Is that the title?
I think it's the title. Or the, something. This is going to drive me crazy because I used to know.
Because I kept
I'll get back to you on that.
I kept waiting for it to have like a direct translation or something, and I was just, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things that
But
I
did notice it.
Yeah, I got most of the letters off this chunk, and then, you know, you sort of fill in the gaps and educated guesswork as you're going along.
I did that for The Hobbit.
Yeah.
You're my favorite person ever. That's awesome.
I taught a friend of mine in English class in grade 11 the alphabet, and we used to pass notes in Dwarvish in class.
Oh, that's so cool.
Rue never got caught. I was so disappointed.
You wanted to show off everyone else?
I did.
I would. That would be fantastic.
In Dwarvish too?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Well, we didn't like use Dwarvish words, but we used the alphabet.
letters,
Yeah. It was awesome.
So fun. Yeah.
See, I didn't know that. I just assumed that it was decoration. I didn't even think that you could translate it.
Mm-hmm. Spent a lot of lunch hours in grade 9.
That definitely improves my opinion of the book like several rungs, especially for like young readers. That would be hilarious to do.
So much fun.
Yeah.
And I think they did that. I think he did that in the second one too. And then he gave up because the stories were getting too convoluted, and he had to focus on that apparently instead of just making fun guessing games.
I do like that Artemis was young and also extremely intelligent.
Oh my gosh, his intelligence kept blowing me away.
Just frightening.
I was so impressed because like I wasn't seeing where it was going. I was like, wow, he is so hyper intelligent. Although I did get how he avoided the time thing. I knew how he was going to do that.
My favorite was the mistake. Like in the negotiation. I immediately thought, like, even in my second time around, because apparently the first time was entirely forgettable, even in the second time around, I was like, maybe it's that twitch that they were talking about earlier, and it wasn't. No spoilers, it was something that he had said that made them think that he had made a mistake, and so would feel comfortable handing him all that gold.
Yeah. Commander Root was always my favorite.
He was kind of annoying. I
thought he
With
was
his beaten face.
I liked the dwarf that they
Mulch?
Oh, yeah.
Mulch Diggins.
His mental, like his thought processes were hilarious.
He's also quite clever in his own right.
Yeah.
As you'd expect from a
Kleptomaniac dwarf.
kleptomaniac dwarf hunted by the law.
Yeah. He was great, and
Holly was pretty impressive too.
Holly's fantastic.
Is she in the second?
Oh, she's in all of them.
Oh.
Well, it does say in the epilogue that she becomes the lead expert on all things Artemis Fowl.
Yeah.
No comment.
Yeah. Now my heart hurts. I'm just gonna sit here and cry for a bit.
I guess the people who know will know.
Yeah.
What I know that when was this book published?
2001.
2001. Okay, so we've gotten so used to diversity in pretty much everything that it took me a while to get used to the fact that Holly was the only girl in the LEP.
Oh yeah.
At least in Recon.
In the Recon. And I'm just, I mean, I'm so used to seeing women in all kinds of different roles now that it took me aback a moment. Wait, how old is this book?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I thought of it more like the fairies were in like a medieval setting almost.
But with all of that tech?
Well, mentality then?
I mean, there are other female officers who are mentioned. Like the one who is Holly's flight instructor.
Yes. Okay, yeah.
There are, but yeah, it's not a big.
But she's paving the way for everybody else.
That's it. Which is what kind of people were doing and around.
It's like in Timora Pierce.
Yes.
With the Lady Knight.
With the Lady Knight.
So
Who's one of
like,
my favorite characters.
She is powering her way through, and I'm like, yeah. Okay, great. That means there's going to be more in the next one.
Yeah.
Because the girls will see, oh, Holly, yay, and they'll look up to her as like this amazing.
Well, I think Juliet's good for that too.
Yeah.
You know, for being a very unstereotypical female character.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
No. And but again, she and Holly are both you know, very different female characters, but each in their own way. It's not like you're either the girly girl or you're this kind of trailblazing character.
Yes. No, that I agree with. Actually,
and then there's a third one who comes in who's the super villain crazy one. Pixie, Obelix boy. I hate her guts.
okay.
Not in this book.
No, not in this book. But yes, yeah.
I really liked going back to Mulch because I just remembered how Mulch was the dwarf pickpocketing the
officer
right at the beginning of this. And it took a second reading for me to pick up on that. I'm thoroughly ashamed of myself.
It was him.
Well, it didn't say his name at the start of the book, so I was just...
Well, it said, when they reintroduced him, they said, remember the dwarf at the beginning of the book that was pickpocketing? I was like, yes, I do.
Yeah.
That was a nice callback.
He's a pretty great character.
I like him a lot.
He's fun.
Yeah.
I also really liked the beginning of the book when Artemis was in Ho Chi Minh City. And I was like, I know where that is. He was there and he was looking for this fairy, and I was like, this is so cool, because like this is how you're introduced to Artemis and Butler.
Right, sort of in the middle of things.
And it's like, whoa, this is so amazing. He knows all this stuff, and he's so like, almost Sherlock Holmes and how he puts things together and stuff. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I do like how they didn't spell it all out right in that first chapter. A lot of books do that. They're like, here they are, and this is, while they're doing this, let me explain to you why they're here and what they're doing. With that, you know, it took a little while for all the pieces. I think it wasn't until the second time I read it that I was going through, I'm like, now that I know all the rules and how they apply, now I get everything that he was doing through this first sequence.
Yeah.
Which, I like that.
Yeah.
I agree. Yes. Although they did, Ian Colfer did a great job of subtle exposition. So it's not just like an exposition dump, which a lot of authors do, and it's really annoying. It all came out in dialogue and small bits and pieces, so you can pull it together yourself without being like shot at all at once.
Yeah.
That was very well done, I have to say.
I think the biggest info dump was how the fairies get to the surface.
Yes. Right. On the like the little egg things,
the flares,
the magma flares.
Yeah.
I was just like, what is going on? Oh, okay.
I always thought that was really cool.
Confused.
Yes.
That's pretty brilliant.
Although I have to say, I'm going to assume that for the purposes of this book, centaurs are actually really small.
Yeah, there was that, because when I was first reading it, I'm like, I just had this image of
like a giant
a centaur, like a horse.
Yeah. And I was like,
so
wow, they must have like really big passageways.
Or like,
also
fairies are huge, and everybody else like comes up to this.
Yeah. Fairies are really strong because at one point Foley gets pinned.
Oh yeah.
So that was the point where I'm like, okay, centaurs are tiny.
Yeah, they're baby centaurs. I'm talking like Shetland pony centaurs.
Smaller even though, right?
Dog size.
Dog size. Like,
but also, you also get the feeling that fairies are bigger than stereotyped.
Yeah, well, I've got...
Well, Holly's the size of a child.
Yeah, which is why I'm like...
She said she's an inch shorter than the average.
Right.
And that makes a big difference when you're 3 foot. Whatever.
Yeah, because it doesn't seem like much, but when you don't have that much to start with, it's huge.
Yeah. Story of my life.
I was like, I don't know what that's like at all.
We are actually in order of size.
We're the staircase panel today. Yeah. Good times.
Yeah.
So I think she said that she was the size of a human dwarf-ish,
Okay, alright, so she's Tyrion-sized.
I guess.
She and Tyrion would make a good team.
You know what? They would. There'd be enough snark between them. I would watch that
That'd
team
be
up.
fantastic.
That's a crossover
Oh my
right now
god.
to see happen.
Yeah. That'd be a great reality show.
What? Actual fairy plus actual human dwarf.
In my world,
Reality show.
Reality. Well, even reality shows are
I was gonna
reality
say.
shows.
could totally pass for reality show.
People will believe anything as long as you stick reality in the front of it.
I will. I'm very gullible. But I think that was one of the things that extra spoke to me in this book was the level of sarcasm. There's a lot of sarcastic character.
Yes, I appreciate the level of snark.
Foley?
Foley was amazing,
Foley's
right?
fantastic.
I think his name was the only thing that really bothered me about the book. I'm like, really? They called a horse person Foley.
I thought it was funny.
It reminded me of the way
indifferent.
my sister named her stuffed animals when she was 2. The panda bear is called Pandy. Like the Scottish teddy bear is called Scotty. And I was just like, okay, that's a dumb name for a horse. But that was probably just...
That's fair.
Plot twist, the cat was called Rufus.
That was funny because I think that just fit in with the wordplay and the sarcasm. Like,
There was a lot of nice wordplay.
leprechaun.
Yes.
I thought
love
that was
that.
I liked how
so awesome.
it was a rank and not an actual being. Also, was it the same with... no, sprites were separate, right?
Sprites were separate.
Yeah, sprites could fly naturally.
Yeah.
And they were...
And that differentiation.
No,
between
because
the
the woman underneath the... in the alley there, she was a sprite.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
At the very start.
Yep.
She was an alcoholic sprite.
Yeah.
Which, if sprites are mischievous enough as it is, add alcohol, I cannot imagine.
I don't want to think about it.
Well, they addled her senses, so I don't think she was doing very much.
No,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I had a question and now it's gone.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
The entire panel fell asleep.
There was.
She'll cut that part out.
No, she won't. She'll fix it in post.
No, it'll go in and there'll be cricket sounds.
Yeah.
She'll do it to me, she'll do it to you.
Yeah, I've done it to Tom.
Yeah.
I had fun editing that episode.
Well, I keep waiting for you to ask more questions, because like,
I know,
feel like
right?
I said everything.
Yeah, because I didn't have that much to say about it, except that for a young reader, I think for somebody like myself who is a precocious reader, 8 years old would be a good time to read this book.
I think 8 to 12.
8 to
kind
12,
of like
yeah, 8
the-
to 12 or 13, depending on how they are.
Right.
Would be a good time. Did
And how old is Artemis? 11?
He's 12.
12.
Yeah.
Okay then. Oh, you guys are right there on the back. Why did I think it was 11?
Does anybody have any closing thoughts before you give it a star rating?
I really liked it, and I'm not 12.
Alright.
I loved it when I was 12 and I love it now, and it is one of those ones that I kept going back to even as I read the rest of the series, because there are so many things that all started in this one that he manages to work in
Oh, that's
again,
awesome. That's really
and it's a really clever series. I thought it was very clever.
Okay.
I have much appreciation for it.
So I know what I'm reading tonight then.
Yeah, I'm kind of split because I know that as a young reader I would have quite loved this book, but as an adult I'm not. Unless you're into young adult books and urban fantasy, both of which things I'm not really, then I wouldn't bother. But as a young reader, I know I would have loved this book. So, yeah. If I were to give it a star rating, I have 2. As a young reader, it would definitely have been a 4. But for me now, it's probably around about like a 2.5.
It's actually actually better than I was expecting from you.
Well, no, there was a lot to like about this book, even as an adult. The research and the wordplay, and I enjoyed the humor. Lollipop will forever be a hilarious thing for me.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's the longest running joke with me and my sisters now.
Oh yeah?
Every so often when she's feeling whiny, she just says, I don't like lollipops.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to like about it. Star rating, Jasmine?
I would say 4. Yeah, I really think it's an excellent book.
Yeah, I would give it a 4. It's like, if you like Harry Potter, then you would like this. If you're looking for something to read with your kids,
yes, it would be good to read this with your kids. Okay, who wants to pick?
Definitely brings up a lot of questions about morality.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be really good with kids. I shuffled it a bit more than she did by shaking it up and down. Battlefield Earth by L. Ron
Hubbard.
That does not look like an R.
Yeah, it's just a... Sorry, my writing is terrible. This has been established. Alright, so the next book we'll be reading is Battlefield Earth. We'll be discussing that in a fortnight. If you have any thoughts about Artemis Fowl, do leave a comment down below. You can also find us on Twitter and Facebook. And you can find me on Twitter at Carrière.
Huh? Oh, right. Amazing flatmate. I forgot what I was talking about.
Spelled exactly as it sounds.
I hope so.
You can find me at Generic Designs or Creative Ot Nerds. No E on the creative because we ran out of space in the...
Yeah. Silver stacks to do this. Okay, that's everything. Thanks, guys. Bye.
I think that's the most awkward silence was in one episode.